Good? Okay. Today, I'm going to go over personal branding and storytelling. I'm going to focus a little bit more on the storytelling aspect of personal branding, just because obviously with Ned and Leo going over trust and content itself, I'm going to try and offer a bit of a different perspective of how you might perceive content now and how you can incorporate it as a business owner within yours today to build trust. So, who am I? If you don't know me, or you already do, but my name is Alex. I went from 2,000 to 15,000 followers in 90 days. However, I posted for 8 months with no progress, just shit posting, putting things out, copying creators, hoping it worked, until I started using storytelling, and that's when my account went from 2,000 to 15,000 very, very rapidly. Now, I created a framework to follow in every piece of video, every piece of content I post, so that every piece of content follows a strategy that I know will grow my audience, whether it's by blasting it up, but every piece of content is built to build trust. Instead of just trying to get views, likes, everything in this framework is purely built on trust. As we've already gone over a couple of times today, the most important thing you all need to focus on when posting content is how much trust you can build and the perception you can get within the viewer instead of the views you can get or the eyeballs you can get on you. Doesn't fucking matter. So, by the end of this, I want you guys will understand the psychology behind storytelling and why it's so important to do within your content for your business to get people to trust you and to buy from you seamlessly, as well as how to grow your brand organically and the key factors actually build an intentional audience. Not just a random audience who are going to watch you and be like, oh yeah, he's cool, but people who fuck with you, get you, understand you, and see themselves in you. So, a couple simple switches as well we'll go over, but we can start today about how your content will start to engage and build the right audience. Now, this ABS framework I made essentially is just storytelling, I'll be honest. It's a way where, like I say, every piece of content builds trust instead of it shit posting. Instead of posting a how-to, a day in a life that realistically no one cares about until they have a reason to care. And then these types of content like the day in our lives, the how-tos, the values actually resonate with your audience more because they fuck with you and they care about you. Instead of just posting a day in a life and no one knowing who you are or any reason to trust you or care about you. So they'll just scroll off. This framework makes sure that every piece of content you post is a way to build that audience so they fuck with you in every aspect, instead of just your business or the results you can get. They see you as a person, connect with you, and want to know more about you. So the 3 key levers of this is telling your story, nurturing with the in-pursuit method, which we'll go into a lot more detail in a second of why that's so important today, and converting with authority. Each piece of content will follow one of these 3 things through a different funnel to ensure that you're connecting with people through telling your story, you're nurturing them with the in-pursuit method, converting with authority, whether that's social proof, testimonials, case studies, whatnot. Now, just so you guys understand where I was and how I got to where I am, a year ago, I started posting content and I was doing sales at the time. Didn't really know what I was doing with content, but I tried to be a content creator 3 times before in COVID, when I went to Australia, and I gave up every time because I wasn't seeing results, views or likes. But I always wanted to be a content creator, went to university, did media, always gave up until I went to Mexico and was like, I'm going to make this fucking work, however possible. I don't know how, but I'm going to post until it works and I understand it. Now, at the beginning, I was very much chasing views and likes. How many people can watch my videos? How many people are laughing at my shit? Like, how much can I tickle my ego, essentially? How much perceived interest can I gain, which is essentially nothing. It doesn't matter whatsoever, especially when building a business, but more so when posting content. Eyeballs mean fuck all if it's not the right people. So I would, again, with the day in a lives, I just hoped, because I've seen creators with 1 million views be like, look at my day in a life where I'm having this coffee and then I'm going to the gym. It's like, oh, well, if they're getting views by doing it, I should surely get views because that video works for them. So I would post day in a life and then be like, I live a good lifestyle. Why is no one watching me? I'm having coffees. I'm going to the gym. I'm living the same life, but no one cares about me. And I thought if I just eventually post a day in the lives, someone would care. But if you're not giving someone ammunition to care about you, to trust you, then all these day in a life videos, all these how-tos, all this value, all these tips will just go amiss. You'll go into the abyss of noise of creators online. All the business owners who copy other people, trying to elevate their content to their audience, it just becomes muffled. It's all joint noise. And everyone is just trying to get people to give a fuck about them by copying others. And for a while, I didn't try and push selling something from my content, because I wanted to build a brand that was unique to myself, that I felt true by posting what I was speaking about, instead of just posting to try and get money or trying to capture leads. I wanted to make sure that I enjoyed what I posted before doing anything else. Oh, we'll give it a little second to come back on. There we go. But yeah, just before we get on to the next bit, anything I just said then, at any stage, does any of that sound familiar to anyone? Can you just put your hands up so I understand? Yeah? Yeah? Pretty much everyone? I think we all go through it at some stage. It's the start of the creative cycle. But the reason why this happens is, as we spoke about multiple times today, and we'll probably continuously speak throughout, in business, the most important thing in social media, in sales, is trust. Because when I was posting first around, I wanted views and likes because of the attention it gave me, because I thought it was purposeful, but all it was doing was just tickling my ego. It didn't serve me in any way other than my ego being built like, yes, people are watching me, I like it, people have got their eyes on me, I'm important. But it couldn't be further from the truth, because no one trusted me enough. And similar to what Leo said before with his presentation of the low trust, the low performance, high trust man will always beat the high performance, low trust. Have I just said the same thing? Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, those guys will always win because they have trust over performance. So in this case, the attention, the performance, the views, the likes means fuck all because you're not important to anyone. But the high trust, low performance, low views, but you're actually speaking directly to your audience's pain points, their problems, their desires, what keeps them up at 3 a.m., what's important to them, the lifestyle they want to live. When you speak so viscerally to that person and how you can solve their problems, that's what builds trust, that what builds a cult following, and that's what gets seamless sales, because they see themselves in you. Now, attention is easy. A viral post will get attention. How many times have you seen viral cat videos? Cats doing backflips, jumping off the wall. Tell me the name of any of those cats. You don't fucking know. Who cares? No one gives a fuck. But the hard part is the trust. For example, let's say, you, with your story, Ned, you mentioned that when you was living at home and you have your own house back in the UK. Does someone remember the story of you having your house back in the UK, but you travel abroad and they want that because they remember you for that?
Yeah.
Right. So they buy into you because they remember you and they trust you because they see themselves in what you have and what you are living. They want that, so they trust you. That's why it's so important. Oh my fucking. Back. So, as we've gone over all times today, the attention doesn't convert, the trust does. And as you can see, throughout the previous months, I've had videos do 1.7 mil, 1.3 mil, 1.6 mil, 8,000 people saving it, 4,000 people saving it. But what you'll realize in these videos is someone might save it, but it will be forgotten. And that's the key part here. Someone might watch it and save it, and you think, oh, people care about me because I'm getting all these metrics. But in these videos, they're purely focused on attention. It's funny shit. I'm in the gym trying to buy Trenbolone. Like, no one gives a fuck about that. It might be funny for 5 seconds, but it's forgotten. The content that sticks might be less views, way, way less. But throughout this whole journey, there was a period where I had 9 million views in 3 months. I didn't make a fucking dime from my content, not a penny from my brand, but I had 9 million views. So if views mattered, why am I not a millionaire? Because to that extent, that's a creator's dream. But once I started to shift my brand purely focusing on building trust and how I could connect with my audience, that's when I spawned in a business. I didn't even have an offer, and I brought in 2 high-ticket clients willing to pay me just off the back end of the trust they had in me from the content I already made. I got onto a call with both of them, and they didn't even question the price because they'd seen the value and the trust they had in me already, without even an offer. So, the reason why most creators stumble is they all follow this equation, which is the broken equation. And that's essentially, you think, all right, I'm going to post more content, I'm going to get more followers, I'm going to get more engagement, and I'll just spawn in sales because everyone's watching me, everyone knows me, everyone sees it. So I should just get sales by a byproduct of all this attention. But similar to what I mentioned before, if you copy a creator who already has trust, a guy with 1 million views, let's say Hormozy, for example, you only listen to Hormozy because of all the videos and the trust he's been building before, so that whenever he posts a video, it could be a 10-second clip of nothing, but it will go viral and it will work because it's him, because you know him, because he's built such a big personal brand and that trust. So if you try and copy a Hormozy video that's got 3 million views, which is 10 seconds telling you how to act towards your business, but let's say Joe, who's got 1,000 followers starting his businesses, no one's going to watch it. No one cares. No one has any reason to listen to Joe. They have every reason to listen to Hormozy. Now, the biggest part is you don't have that trust, like I say, like Hormozy does. But you can easily get it just by following. Wow, actually, I'll follow it in a second. I'll leave you on a cliffhanger because I've got a few more things to go over. Now, quickly, I will go over these briefly. There's 3 traps that I found myself in content at each different point, and what a lot of people online today will. And I'm going to ask you examples of where you can think of these. So let's say lifestyle only, right? This is where you only post the villas, the wins, the dinners, the cars, the watches. Who comes to mind when you think of lifestyle only? Who? Traders. Right, and why is that? Like, why do they come to mind? Because they just post all that. They post results. But then you're like, well, how the fuck is he doing it? What does his day-to-day look like? Is he real? Are these real people? I'm only seeing signals on a screen. But he's making people money, supposedly. So why don't you trust it? But why is it? They're showing, I made this guy money. Why don't you trust him? It's not relatable. You don't see it as believable. It's unattainable because they're not showing the journey or the authenticity of how they got there. They might be the soundest guy in the world. They might be the most genuine person, but if they don't present themselves in a certain way, they only show the wins, no one's going to believe them. They're going to think they're a scammer because they're not showing everything. With these guys in lifestyle only, they think they have to show up to a persona, a fake winner, so that they can't show the fails, the losses, the experiences that went wrong, because it discredits their authority. But it couldn't be further from the truth. If they focus purely on lifestyle to show that they're only winning, it makes them seem non-believable. It makes them seem a scammer and fake, even if they're the most genuine. So, tactics only. Does anyone come to mind, or any type of influencer, creator, business owner, when you go to tactics? Anything?
Sales call reviews.
Sales call reviews. Objection handling. All they do is objection handling. Objections, objections, objections. How I would handle this, how I would handle that. If someone's trying to grow an audience, how many people have you seen online that can objection handle? Hundreds? I've seen maybe thousands. I took the piss out of most of them online. There's all the same regurgitated shit. And gotcha. You would see that and you would be like, I would be able, for example, the reason why, we'll actually pick up on that. The reason why those videos did so well, they did hundreds of thousands of views. Oh, fuck you. There we go. But yeah, with the gotcha guy, I don't know if you've seen it before, I'll just give you some context. I was chasing views at some point, as we mentioned before, and I started to take the piss out of sales calls and online sales gurus trying to teach their objection handling. The reason why it went viral, because I was insinuating I was a real closer, but I was just being so accentuated and exaggerated and telling about people's kids and wives died and how to handle those objections, so because of how far-fetched it was. Now, the reason why they did so well is because every single person would see the sales gurus, the tactics guys, and they would all blur together. They'd all look the same because there's no differentiation. How you handle an objection, how you handle the objection, there's obviously an optimal way. There might be different ways, but the objection handling itself is so overdone that the only differentiator you can have is that person's personality. If you then connect with that person, you're then more inclined to watch their objection handling because you see yourself in them. But if you don't know that person and you only see their objection handling, they just become a voice in the noise of everyone else posting objection handling videos that all sound the same. There's no differentiation and you don't grow your brand because you're just another one of the creators in the masses of thousands online trying to make a name for themselves. And the last one is shit posting, which is random content. I'm not going to ask you who comes to mind because this is pretty much anyone. If you just post with, I'm copying this creator, I'm copying this creator, I'm going to speak about this, I'm going to speak about that, but you're just posting for posting's sake, hoping one video blows up. Like, yeah, after 4 years, 5 years, you might start to see good traction. But if you were to be able to do it in 6 months instead of 5 years, which one would you do? If you follow a strategy that builds trust, one's clearly going to get you there much faster.
I think an important thing with that one as well is it's very easy to do the videos when you're doing something else.
you're let's say, I was in Dubai, for example, walking to meet someone, or you're at this villa, for example, and you just film a video, but it's actually shit, and the location might be good, which definitely has an impact, but the value is just the same thing. You're telling someone to do something, you're giving something away for free, but it's like, okay, if I post 10 of them, then all I'm doing is just yapping.
Exactly.
To someone the whole time.
Now, that exact thing there is good when you have a brand, because people might be inclined to listen to you. But if you're just trying to grow your personal brand and you're shit posting and posting for posting's sake, it will just get lost into the noise exactly there. You feel inclined that you have to show a certain lifestyle or a certain thing, but every time I post a video, I always think about this. Does this piece of content build trust? Has this piece of content got a purpose? Am I trying to nurture someone? Am I trying to connect to someone? Or am I trying to convert someone? If it doesn't follow that, for example, if I'm just sat there and be like, oh, I had a coconut today and I have coffee and I'm in Dubai and whatever, it doesn't do with any of those three things, because no one gives a fuck where I am, really. No one, I'm not helping anyone with anything, and I'm not showing I can help their problems. If it's not got a piece of intent behind the post, don't post it. Because this might go against most people. I would argue you don't need to post every day. I only post 5 times a week, but I know that every video I post has a purpose and intent that then builds a following. Do you think your followers right now will notice if you skip a day of posting? They don't give a fuck. But what they will notice is if your video quality goes down. Why was he so good at telling stories? Why did I feel like I connect with him so much? And now he's just posting little silly videos in Dubai with his tongue out like, If he was connecting so much before, why is he now lessening the quality? No one will notice, oh, why is he not posted for a day? They won't notice. So if you just focus purely on the quality you post instead of the quantity, I promise you now your brand will grow, especially by following some of the things we're going to go over next. More cliffhangers. So just quickly on this, you'll get lost in vanity metrics, views being fuck all unless it's the right audience. But if I ask you now, how do we turn views into people who want to work with us? Would anyone have an answer? What would you instinctively think is the best way to turn views into people who actually want to buy from you? Anyone?
YouTube.
YouTube? Long form, nurturing, yeah?
Language use. Speaking the language, speaking what I try.
Yeah? Okay. Now, Ned mentioned something earlier before on the trust equation. This is what I consider the trust equation. Very similar concept, but a little bit more on the storytelling angle. And storytelling is something I want to really go into detail today, because if you're not doing it in your content, you're missing out, because storytelling is the only thing in your content you can do that inherently makes you unique, which is the unique angle. Because everyone can tell frameworks, everyone can objection handle, everyone can be in a villa in the hills, everyone can live the same lifestyle, everyone can have the cars, but no one has lived the exact same moments, experiences, and the life you have lived. No one has that over you. That's why it's so important. So how you factor that in with your business, with your content, is what makes you stand out above the crowd and the noise of all these creators who are copying each other, trying to make a name for themselves, but it's all regurgitated noise. This is the only way you can single yourself out in the noise, because people are like, say for example, I'll give you for myself. When I went to Mexico, I left my partner, left my friends, left my family. I quit my job. I went all in on my sales job to make it work. I started posting content that I had no Wi-Fi. I was making no money. All these things, I was at my absolute lowest and my rock bottom, and I didn't want to do any of the things I did. I didn't want to post content, but I stuck at it until I knew how it worked. That is my rock bottom story, okay? You should have felt some sort of emotion in that if you connected with it and there's an experience where you had similar. If you remember in your time, in your life, a period where you left everything behind, where you sacrificed it all, where you might have left a relationship, where you left your friends and family, and everyone said you were stupid. If you have that, you connect with me, and you have another inkling of being like, fuck, this guy gets me, because we went through the same things. So even if I speak the next thing on sales, or even if I speak on content, or football, whatever your niche is, because you connect with me on the story and the unique angle I bring, you're already invested into me. You become the niche. And that's how you can convey anything across, when you have people connecting with you on a matter that they are like, holy shit, I get this guy. And that goes into the emotional connection. Because if someone feels, I'm going to touch in more detail with the emotion side, but when you're in sales, how do you sell to someone? What do you need to do to sell to someone? Anyone?
Attach emotion with logic.
Yes. You need to attach emotion to it. So, imagine if you could attach the emotion in your content. When you're on a sales call, they come in fresh. Yo guys, what was it today? You have to get them into the buying pocket. You have to get that emotion out of them. Now imagine if your content nurtured your audience in a way where you get them into that emotion without ever being on a sales call, without ever needing to get on a call to get someone to feel that way. Your lifestyle, your unique experiences, your authenticity, your vulnerability, how you lived your life and how they see themselves in you is how they connect, it's how they open up, it's how they feel the emotion and see themselves in you. So before they're even on a call with you, or before they even know what you're on about, they're already emotionally invested into you. So it becomes 20 times easier to speak about anything, or even, let's say, on the sense you want to sell something, 20 times easier because they already feel like they know you despite ever speaking to you. And that's why it's so powerful. And that's what builds the trust, the most important currency in social media, business, and sales. If you have trust, you can sell to anyone, you can build with anyone. It is the most important thing you should think about in all your pieces of content. Just as a pointer to see where everyone's at, who, when they post their pieces of content, or content in general, thinks, is this building trust? Yeah?
I do think that, but then I also definitely get caught in the thing of posting every day for the sake of posting every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm right now running the whole business for myself, like I'm sure a few people here are doing. I have so many things that I'm trying to become an expert in. That content becomes one of them for a period of time whilst I'm getting great at ads. And then I know I should be posting for trust. I know I should be posting to connect, but then I end up just posting what I've been able to film that day or what I've been able to batch film.
Third content trap, shit posting.
Yeah.
You fall underneath the trap, and again, that's so common. It's like,
I was like, fuck you.
nah, I'm saying as in like, when you do that, it's because inherently, even if you don't realize it, you're trying to show up as something that's not you, in a way. You want to show off the lifestyle, but in that day you might not be living the life, sort of thing. So like, let me try and put this into words. When people try and come across as the perfect, perfectionist, polished, finished product, they think that's what the audience wants to see, but it couldn't be further from the truth, because the more and more you try and show up something you're not, or the finished product, or perfect, you're actually distancing yourself further and further away from your ICP, because they don't want perfect. They don't want the polished. They don't want the final product. They want someone they can see themselves in, which is why these 3 steps are so important, because they connect with you. But if you don't do these 3 things, and you just try and sell your results or your lifestyle, you will be positioned so far away from them that they'll just see you as a scammer. That's why these 3 things, to build trust, so they believe in you, so that it builds connection no matter what you do. But I'm glad you said that, because everyone falls into that exact same thing. And the last part, sales. That's become seamless. Once you have the trust, you're pre-sold on the calls, it gets on, they know everything about your story, they've seen all your testimonials. Not only have they seen your testimonials, but they actually care about your testimonials because they can connect with you, see themselves in you. So when you get on a call, it's like, well, you've seen Ned do it, you've seen my lifestyle, you've seen how long I've been doing this, like, where do you want to go from here? It becomes a much more seamless transaction. And that you might be sitting here thinking, yeah, but is it actually the case? I closed 2 people without an offer. I didn't have anything to sell. I just got on and negotiated, like, I want it. They wanted me because they bought into me. We've been having a business. Think about how powerful that is for your business when you have a business, when you have a product service or something to offer, how powerful that can be for you. So, I already touched on this briefly, but your story is the only thing your competitors can't copy. I'll ask now, what is a belief shifting moment you had, or the biggest moment in your life that changed the trajectory of your life?
Tough question, that.
It is, it's uncomfortable, and that's what's going to get you, that's what's going to get connection.
Because I've consumed a bit of your story. I think I watched one reel when I messaged you when we were speaking.
I'd say that you took it back in the day.
Yeah, anything. What comes to mind, bro? What's the biggest pivotal, belief shifting moment in your life that changed the trajectory of your life?
Changing the people I work with.
Mm-hmm. What example?
So running B2C to B2B, quality clients that actually do the work, make money, and move.
Yeah.
Best decision that I made.
Right, and with that, how many people would connect with you moving from B2B to B2C if they'd done the exact same things?
Good quality people.
Great quality people, the people you want to work with. Now, What were you going to say then? Because I think it's going to be interesting. You remembered something of him. Why did you remember his video?
Oh, I hope it was you now that I think about this.
Oh, that's right. Even if it's not, you remembered someone's content because of how powerful the story is.
When we messaged you, I just checked on your profile, just to make sure like you were like doing like some business stuff in there and just check. And I think I only watched like 2 videos, and one of them I think had just saw you quit a job or something. And there's a video of you at a desk or some shit, and you're like in the early stages.
Yeah.
I don't really remember completely because I didn't consume enough of it. But I was like, oh, that's cool. That's very similar to me. I had a really good job, and I quit it, and then like I just went all in.
That right there is exactly why storytelling is so powerful. It's because, let's say for example, who's your ICP? Describe it.
Describe them.
Describe them.
People.
Without describing Ned.
People making money but are stuck knowing they can make it.
Okay. At one point, would you have considered that you was making money, you wanted to make more, and you invested into a coach to move on?
Why would I not want to make more money now?
Exactly. But I'm saying like, at any point, like yeah.
Yeah.
So you are Adam's ICP in a way, and you connect with a story he made. That itself is the power of storytelling. Imagine that at scale. This is just this room. Imagine you post content, you even get 4,000 people watching your video. Because it doesn't matter how many people watch, but 4,000 people, how many of those are going to have the exact same impact that Ned has, remembering Adam's story, to sell his service? How many leads will he get, and how much trust will he have by speaking more on his moments, the changing factors of his life, which then impacts how many people he can bring into his business? It's fucking, I'm telling you, this is so powerful because you literally become the niche. Because everyone can do business, but no one, like, those stories are inherent to Adam. You might have had the same experience, but that's what builds the connection if you've had that exact same experience, which is why you become the niche. Because a niche of content isn't, oh, I left my job. That's not a niche of content. Business is a niche of content, but a story isn't a niche. So if you have all these inklings of your story scattered around within your content, where it's all different nuggets that people can pick up on and attach to and see themselves in, that's how you become the niche, and that's how you build the following that are fucking with you. And if you have a service or a product on the back end of that, you can blow it to the fucking moon. It's incredible. Okay. Now, I already touched on this briefly, so I won't go over it too much. With sales, you try and get your prospects into the buying pocket. You want them to feel emotion. If someone's cocky, you'll sell down. If they're cocky and overconfident, you'll be like, oh, but why haven't you done this on your own yet? Like, if you're so good, why have you not tried it already? You break down their beliefs so they're like, you know what, you're right, and they're in the buying pocket, they're in the emotional state. If someone is not feeling themselves or they haven't tried it yet, it's like, oh, why haven't you done it yet? Are you ever going to try it? You build them up to believe that they can do it with you. Whichever state they're in, you get them into an emotional phase so that they buy from you and they're ready to do it. You partner emotion with logic. So if your content can do that and you can allow people to feel that emotion, they will pre-sell themselves and want to work with you and buy from you because of how emotionally invested they are into you. And when you apply that logic on a sales call, that's what makes it frictionless sales because they're already ready. The emotion you need to incite to get someone to commit to you is already done within the content. And then it just becomes a logical matter on the call of when do you want to start. So you want to think as well, like how does it do anything for my content? Probably should have clicked the slide on. I've pretty much touched over this. But you again want to nurture your audience into the emotional state so they're pre-sold before the call. That's when they feel like they know you already. Now, does anyone feel like when they get, I'm sure many of us are going to feel this, how many times have you been on a sales call and you feel like you have to literally drag this person through the screen with objection, 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 objection. And even at the end, when you bring them on, you're like, fuck, I can't believe I have to work this guy. But you're committed to the objections because you're dragging them in so much. How many people have had that experience within the business? Anyone? Hands up, please, just so I can see. Okay, a good portion, half of us at least. Now, that's because they don't trust you. It's simple as, otherwise, if they trusted you, they'd be like, well, yeah, I'm on this call. I want fitness coaching. I trust you. Let's do it. But because they don't trust you, they have all these barriers and all these things stopping them from going ahead with you. So if your content can do that thing that builds the trust, when they come on, it becomes a logical sell. You want to get in shape, you fuck with me, let's do it. Because they're obviously going to get in shape with someone. There's 20,000 fitness coaches out there, but if you have someone that buys into you inherently, that's what separates you from the rest of the fitness coaches out there, and that's how you become your own niche. So, how do I do that with my content? I've made this, which I'm not going to try and claim I'm some sort of fucking visionary. It's storytelling through a funnel system. Now, telling your story, nurturing with the in pursuit, and converting with authority. Each part is pivotal and required, mainly because if you skip a step, you'll build curiosity, not trust. If you only tell your story and you get people to connect with you, but you've not got anything nurture-wise or nothing to prove you can do what you say, then no one's going to trust you. They'll resonate with you, they'll be emotionally invested, but they won't trust you to do what you're selling. Similar with the nurturing with the in pursuit method, which we're going to go over in a bit more detail. If you only nurture your content, if you only nurture your audience, they don't know anything to connect with you, and they don't know what you can do to help them get to where they want to go. And similarly, if you only show results and conversions, they have no reason to trust you because you haven't done the first two steps. So if you only do two of these, one of these, you'll only build curiosity, but you need to do all three to be able to build entire trust with your audience and the viewers and the people you want to sell to. Now, I've gone over this in a little bit of detail already, but you build the emotional connection by differentiating yourself. So once the viewer sees themselves in you, do you know what? I'm going to go over to the second slide because it's going to be a bit more detailed. This part is the most important throughout all of this because we touched on it already. No one wants the guru, the finished product, the polished person who has everything figured out. They want the messy, human, personable thing. They want to know that you make mistakes. They want to know how you can help them, but experience their mistakes and how you get past them. Not someone who has it all figured out, because that person won't see themselves in you. For example, I'll give you an idea. If I struggle with binge eating and drinking, and I want to have a personal trainer, and there's an IFBB pro who's in the best shape ever, or there's someone who has overcome binge eating problems and drinking problems and is also in good shape, who am I more likely to go with? The person I see myself in, because he can help me with my problems. I won't think that the IFBB pro will ever struggle with what I'm struggling with, and I want someone to help me in my unique situation. So the reason why the in pursuit method works is because the audience want to know that what you're selling or how you can help is attainable, that it's not impossible, that it's not a million miles away, that they can grab it and that you're not that far away, because that's what gives them trust. That's what builds them and inspires them to, like, you know what, I actually am like this guy. I can do what he's doing. But if the trader who's making $1 million, only showing his results and his villas, if they come to you like, yeah, it's 10K, bro, they aren't going to want to do anything with it because they just see it as such a scam and so far away, even if they are the most genuine person. But imagine if a trader was to come out and be like, look, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a real guy. I just like living in Thailand. I only make about 5-6K a month. I just resell signals from another guy, but you can make money. That's how I make money. If you want to live in Thailand and make 2-3 grand a month, that's how I do it. Just copy these signals, join the free school community. Maybe I can give you one-to-one. That alone, in 20 seconds, is going to build more trust than any other trader I've seen on social media. Because they don't...
Quite easily see the difference between the traders. The ones that are flexing lifestyle are normally low ticket, £300 investment. All they've got is Lambos. And the other ones that post value, breakdowns, and being real, they can charge high ticket.
Exactly. Why is that?
Trust.
Trust, exactly. Once you're real, once you're human, showing you're not perfect, showing you're capable of solving problems, that's when people trust you and buy from you. Because the people who are coming to you, they have problems that need solving. But if you don't show the problems you once had, and you only show up as polished and perfect, they don't trust you. But if you show yourself as someone who consistently gets through the problems they're experiencing, but that's how you're successful, that's what gets them so inherently in on what you're doing, your life, your product, and you as a person. And then obviously this is important. You have to convert with authority. It's not all just storytelling and being like authentic and genuine. You still need to be positioned as the person who can solve their problems. The person who is getting social proof, the testimonials, making people wins, getting them from 5 to 10K to 20K to 30K months. You still need to show that. But when you show that now, by doing the first 2 steps first, people will care about these results and actually listen to them. Instead of thinking you're just trying to sell them something or scam them, because you've shown how genuine, authentic, and vulnerable you are, this now means something. It doesn't mean you're trying to sell something. It just shows you can help. And it's what converts them over the edge to finally make the move like, I'm going to book in a call, I'm going to do it. Because I already fuck with this guy and he's doing it for everyone else. So why can't I do it? And this is where we want to show our offer. We want to show, for example, we're a business coach. We can help people. We want to show we can scale online offers. We want to show that we can save people taxes. We want to show these things, but it isn't everything we speak about. What we speak about is ourselves, our experiences, and how we help others, and then at the end you show these things. But a little hack I found is, with storytelling, how powerful it is, what we spoke about. If you're able, which I've seen mad results with my clients and myself as well, if you package one of your results into a story about, say for example, I did it with my client Gabriel the other day. He got his best friend, Sal, he dropped 20 kilos in I think it was 12 kilos, sorry, in 3 months. And he did it without sacrificing without sacrificing drinking, having food on the weekends, but still being dialed in the weeks. Now, he could have made a piece of content by saying, look at Sal go from 78 kg to 66 kg. And someone would be like, yeah, cool, right, whatever. But instead, we positioned him as telling the story of how he did it. Now, how he did it was, he then said, 3 years ago, I really struggled with binge eating and I always went out on the weekends. I wanted to stay dialed, but I could never get my routine in check. But then I did this one small switch and everything changed for me. I started going into the gym, but I never actually gave up my drinking or my food. And I saw that I actually went 12 kilos down. And now I help other people do the same thing, because look how Sal went from X to X in this short period of time. And he didn't give up food and drinking either. So if you really want to make the same decisions and you really value your food and drinking in your life, then come and book a call, DM me this, CTA. The way you package your results is in such a more engaging fashion when you tell it through a story, because it builds the trust in and of itself as you're converting. And that alone, I don't know if I spoke quite quickly there, I'm a little bit passionate on this, but that made Gabriel 2.5 grand from one reel, and he's a fitness coach. He only charges like 1,200 per thing. I then did it on my next one, and I landed a client for 1,200 a month. It's that powerful. Now, all three of the things we just mentioned is what gets that 100% trust. You miss any of them, you don't have that full trust, there will still be some sort of inklings or doubts in that person's mind. You have to do all three to purely get someone over the line before you even spoke to them.
Alex, sorry, is this all three in every single piece of content or throughout?
So it's not those three things there. I didn't want to confuse you with the funnel, but they are all different stages of the funnel. So the top of funnel would have been telling your story, like 40%. The nurturing with the in pursuit would have been 50%, which is about 50. And then 10% of your content would be converting. So you don't want to throw everyone's results and testimonials and social proof in the face all the time. You only want to do it enough to prove you are who you are, and you can help them in the way you say. But your focus is on the top of funnel, middle funnel, and a lot of the time as well you would send them to YouTube, and the conversion is just enough to push them over the edge. But that would be the different funnel structures. I just broke it down that way so you can understand when you post a piece of content, it has to follow one of those three things. But it would be like top of funnel, top of funnel, middle funnel, conversion, so on and so forth. Depending on how many times you post a week is how you would amend the strategy, 40, 50, 10.
So Alex, you run mainly the stories as like awareness?
I utilize storytelling in all different parts of the funnel. Right. So I started doing it as top of funnel originally to connect to people. And that's where I noticed the most growth originally, all top of funnel. But then I realized that yes, I'm getting views, yes, I'm getting people connecting with me, but I'm not selling anything. No one's invested into me. So then I focused on putting it into my middle funnel, which is, for example, why storytelling is important. Something like this, where I'm saying the power of storytelling, how it can get someone bought into you, how you can segregate yourself from the masses and the noise by telling your story. That would be middle funnel, because even though I'm still telling a story, I'm showing you the power of storytelling as the concept itself. That nurtures you and makes you realize, okay, storytelling is important. And the bottom one of conversion is when I would tell a story on a client result or a testimonial and show you let me try and phrase it like this. Storytelling is the vehicle that engages and connects. You can use it throughout all parts of the funnel. You want to do it maybe about 4 to 5 times a week, because you don't want to do full 7 storytelling. Without getting too confusing, I try and aim for a viral recreation reel once a week to gain eyeballs in, so that once you have that awareness, you can then focus on these other strategies of storytelling. I might do a direct talking head reel so people can see that I'm authentic, but then the rest of it is following the funnel structure to tell stories in either top, middle, or bottom. But storytelling itself is the vehicle that gets engagement and trust and builds that connection with the viewer. And if you utilize it in each way, it doesn't even come across like you're selling. For example, if I tell a story on a client result, but I'm telling a storytelling fashion and I'm taking the viewer on a journey, they won't even realize they're being sold to, because you're being engaging and you're being human with it. But if you told a story if you made a video purely on, I got this person from 10 kg to 20 kg bench, fucking, I don't know, then it feels like they're being sold to because you're trying to shove it down the throat to the result you have. But if you just filter the result in, it doesn't feel like they're being sold to. But subconsciously, they're then consuming all your results and results and results. Over time, it becomes, why am I not fucking working with this guy? You know what I mean?
Do you think that still works for B2B though? Because obviously business owners are pretty much data driven. So do they need to be sold a story? When if you can say, look, I can do this here.
Well, business owners, I only primarily work with business owners because it is more of a logical sell. And the reason why I say it's so effective for business owners specifically is because if you do the emotional thing in the content, when you get them onto your call, it does a logical close. For example, the business owner comes on with me and he says, okay, I want to improve my content, I want to grow my brand, I want to market myself organically better so I can bring in more leads. I'm like, okay, how much is your service? How much is your average client value? It's like 1,000. It's like, all right, okay. You invest into me, you have 30 shots in a month to bring in at least one client from this style of content. Do you believe, considering Gabriel got 2 clients within 4 reels, you can get at least 1 within 30? Yes, I do. Okay, do you believe you can get more than 1? Yes, I do. It's proven with other people. So why do you not think you can get 5 or 6? That's less than Gabriel, and he only got 1,000, 2,000 views. Yeah, I can get 5 or 6. Okay, so you're going to 5 to 6 extra investment by trying this and putting this, considering you're not even getting anything from your content. It's logical. I mean, it is in my eyes, and if you're not, then I don't want to work here. Maybe that's a flaw on my side, but every time I've done it on sales calls, it becomes a logical sell because they're already bought into you, invested into you through the stories you tell, how you engage the business owners, so that when they're on the call, it is completely logical. I've never got into a sales call and been like, oh, what would the future version of you think if you didn't make this move right now? It's like you want to make money, you've seen how I made money, you're invested into stories. The reason you're on this call is the stories I'm telling you. So imagine if you could do that with your clients. It's the same sort of thing. I hope that answers your question. So I'll say it for maybe the 9th time today. Trust the most valuable currency in business, sales, social media. The fake gurus everywhere, no one believes anything, authenticity stands out. If you take anything away from today, build trust in every piece of content and show the fucking mess. Be yourself unapologetically. Don't think about how you come across or how you're perceived if it is inherently you. If you show up as you unapologetically and show yourself as an authority, that will build way more trust than trying to be someone you're not, to prove to someone you're perfect, to try and show off something that you've not got. Now, what you can do today, similar to how I asked Adam about his belief shifting moment, I have a range of stories in my mind, or maybe a hero arc, your belief shift, a pivotal change, something that changed it all for you in your life, a win, an experience, a loss, the biggest thing you could advise someone. These are all stories. You can use all these in business, in personal, top, middle, bottom funnel. If you have these pieces of content, you could link back to your rock bottom moment, for example, me in Mexico, and that emotion I felt, to then how it plummeted me on today to start a business and go all in, and why taking uncomfortable decisions is the most important thing in business. I'm talking about how I was crying 14 times in a day in Mexico and linking it to how important it is to now take risks with your business. So I'm engaging with people in a way that they wouldn't normally feel by being vulnerable and authentic. If you can do the same thing within your content and you mind your best stories, you will stand out above all the other people who are trying to do the exact same thing as you. So, in regards to that, I have a few questions where you can think of these things because they are going to be very uncomfortable to try and just think back to. If any of you want help with the content, come to me. I'll give you a questionnaire where you can find out the belief shifts, the hero arcs, the life-changing moments, the advice, the wins, the lessons that shape you that you're unaware of unless prompted. And yeah, that was my first ever guest speaking session. I think I spoke very, very fast, but I'm clearly passionate about this shit. Peace and love. Thank you.